It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. Today's guest, Pam Grout, teaches that our thoughts create our reality. According to Pam, there's a field of infinite possibilities, and you impact the field and draw from it according to your beliefs and expectations. Blessings and miracles are natural, and joy is only a thought away. Pam is the New York Times bestselling author of 17 books. She writes for People, CNN.com, Men's Journal, and the Huffington Post. Welcome, Pam. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm pleased to be here.
Well, Pam, as you can see from the title of our show, Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, you are the perfect guest for us, and I'm so happy that you're here because your work teaches that our thoughts create our reality. And for listeners that may not be familiar with the concept of the law of attraction and manifesting, can you give us a basic understanding of just how powerful our thoughts really are?
Yeah, well, our thoughts are actually a vibration. Vibrations that go out into the universe and literally draw back to us whatever we're thinking about. So whatever we focus upon in our life, we expand it in our life. I mean, we literally are influencing the world. You know, in quantum physics, they talk about the observer effect. So you really can't even look at anything without actually changing it, or they call it disturbing it. That's what the physicists will call it disturbing it. So everything we're thinking, it's being broadcast out into this big universal field of infinite potentiality, and it's bringing back a match to us. So what we think about, we bring into our life. I mean, literally. So it's so important to be thinking about positive things, to put our attention on the things that are working, on the things we're grateful for, instead of on the things that we perceive as not working.
So, Pam, for someone who's listening to this, who really is not experiencing the type of life he or she would like, but that person also spends a lot of time in that victim mentality in the mind, and as you said, focuses on, I wish I had this isn't right, how am I going to make this happen? That's exactly the thought process that gets that person into trouble, isn't it?
Oh, totally. I mean, if you keep thinking about what you do not have, you're going to get more of what you do not have. I mean, our imagination is such an important player in, how we create our reality, because if we can imagine new things and we start focusing on that. I mean, if you can just get into a state of gratitude, which I believe is our natural state. I mean, I think if you're not living in joy, you have somehow deviated from the course of how your life is supposed to be. And we're sort of taught that there's this cultural paradigm, that suggests that life is difficult. We're supposed to figure out what our problems are and then try to solve them. But if we would quit focusing on the problem and start really focusing on all the things that are going right, and there's so many things that are going right when you stop to look at it, those other things would literally disappear, because that's how powerful we are with our consciousness. Our beliefs and expectations literally are influencing the world. So, exactly what you said is so true.
So, Pam, living in a state of gratitude, that's a wonderful way to begin. What are some other effective tools that someone can utilize to manifest the life that he or she wants?
Well, one of the things, I talk about in the book, there's people that, this isn't true, they don't believe it. So what I do is I give people literally these scientific experiments to do. I give it 48 hours. See if you really can interact with this field of infinite potentiality. My claim is that you interact with this field of infinite potentiality. You literally are constantly in communication with it. You're in on the game, and it wants to interact with you. It wants to bless you. It wants to guide you. I mean, it wants to do this. We're all part of this interjoining field. And so I say, just give it a try. If you can suspend your disbelief for 48 hours, give it a try. Just say, hey, look, universe, if you indeed are are listening to what I'm saying, give me a sign. Show me that you are actually listening to what I'm thinking, what I'm saying. And then you just do that for 48 hours, and it comes back with a blessing or with a sign. And it's just so amazing. I mean, I think that's mind-boggling to people. They think, well, they're just these separate individuals that aren't really, that have to fight and struggle for everything. But if you actually ask, I mean, a simple request is a good way to get started too. Hey, universe, are you out there? Are you paying attention? And then just see what happens.
And two of the books that you're talking about that have these experiments are E squared and E cubed. And where did the concept for your ebooks come from?
Well, these are important spiritual principles that I've studied for a long time. I'm a student of the Course in Miracles.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically I took what I think are 9 really important principles that really we all need to know, and then I put them in an experiment form. So if you try it and you witness it in your own life, then you come to see, wow, this is really true. So basically the 9 experiments in E squared are 9 principles that I think people need to know, and I give people an experiment to say, here, try this out. Does this work or does this not work? And then in E cubed, the follow-up book, it's corollaries to those 9 experiments that further proof that, this quantum field is out there and it wants to interact with you.
Pam, can you briefly walk us through one of these experiments?
Well, I sort of did when I mentioned that about asking for a sign, but the first one is kind of the foundation of everything is you give the field or the force or the dude, whatever you want to call it. I call the experiment in the book the dude abides. It's a takeoff from the Big Lebowski. But basically what I'm saying, my hypothesis, there is this force out there that wants to interact with you. That's the hypothesis or something to that effect. So you just say, okay, guy, force, God, whatever you want to call it, source, whatever. If you indeed are out there, give me a sign. And you give it 48 hours to give you a sign. I mean, what could be more simple than that? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to do anything, but simply ask for a sign within 48 hours. So that's the first one. And then it, goes on to you start looking at the way things you're thinking, things you're expecting come back to you. That's the second experiment. I mean, it just kind of goes in a natural progression where you really do realize, the magnetic power of your thoughts and of your beliefs and expectations. But yeah, that first one's a real simple one to try, and I would encourage all your listeners just to give it a try.
Pam, what manifesting tools do you use on a regular basis in your life?
Well, I have come to trust so much in the universe, in this field of infinite potentiality, that I simply, make some intentions in the morning. If there's something specific that I'm doing, like today I knew I was going to be talking to you, I, made the intention that we would have a good conversation, that would be helpful to people. And then basically just trust it to the, to the universe. In fact, like I said, I'm so aware of how in cahoots it is and how much it wants to bless me and enrich me that I pretty much have gotten to the point where I'll just say, hey, bring it on kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing, I'm eager, I'm aware. I want to, notice, what is mine to do. But when I have a specific intention, I'm a big journaler. So in the morning I'll write down, maybe some intentions, like I mentioned, the intention for this particular interview. But here's the thing that I do every morning that I think is really, really cool. I get up and I say, something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. And I say that, I kind of call it, I joke that it's a modified AA program. It's instead of 12 steps, it has 2 steps. And that's the first step. You get up and you say, something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. You're going to say, something magical is going to happen to me today. That's the first thing you do. So you're kind of forecasting your day. You're saying, this is what my day is going to be like. So that's what you're looking for. You're expecting that. The second tool, and this goes back to the gratitude in my 2-step program, is I text 3 blessings to what I call my power posse. It's 5 friends. And the thing that's unique about this gratitude, it's like blessings from the day before. So we do it first thing in the morning, but it has to be something different. I've always been big like, oh, I love my career. I love my daughter. It's stuff like that. I'm so grateful for all those things. But this has to be something different. So I feel like I'm Lewis and Clark out there. I'm scouting blessings and miracles. I mean, that's what I'm out there doing. That's my job, is to get these new blessings and miracles that I'm going to tell to my power posse coffee tomorrow morning. So that's my little two-step easy program for gratitude and setting the intention the way you want your day to be. You're out looking for that. That's what you're expecting.
Well, you know what's interesting, Pam, listening to you. When I mention those people that live in that victim mentality, they just kind of think life happens to them. And they don't realize the powers you're saying of creating. And that creating comes from putting out there what you want. But then it also comes from being able to release it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, because what I believe is natural, and what I believe, there are blessings and miracles lined up outside for all of us. But we block it by not accepting it, by believing in this other reality, this fake reality that life sucks and then you die. I mean, as long as you're thinking in those terms, that's what you're going to get. So you're blocking all this good that wants to come to you. I mean, good is wanting to rush to us. That is the state of the world. I mean, look at the sun comes up this morning. It blesses us with sunshine, with power. It makes food grow out of the ground. I mean, everything is in place for a perfect life, but we've set up all these blocks with our thinking. We are creating, this giant veil over the truth of how much we are blessed and how much the universe wants to provide for us, to bless us, to guide us, to be more and to have a happy life. So by simply getting out of the way, as you called it, allowing, by simply getting rid of all that victim mentality, that belief, it's another miserable day, or really just getting up and expecting the same thing as yesterday. I mean, miracles, something totally new and exciting could happen today, except that we keep hanging on to the way things are before. We think what we see now is so important. I mean, what we see now is just really the byproduct of, what we created yesterday, but we just keep creating the same old thing over and over and over again. So when you get up with this open, allowing state, just to be aware, miracles just start pouring in.
Pam, you talk about how wonderful life is, and I'm a believer with you that it is. It's a miracle. Every day is a miracle. But when you look at our world, people are living in fear. There are a lot of stresses. Economic issues are of concern to people. How can we keep our vibrations raised when we're under so much stress?
Well, I think it's a lot of it self-imposed stress. And I think also once you realize how much power you have, you're not going to interface with those problems and those stresses unless you keep focusing on them. We are constantly, fretting about this or looking at the news. And I mean, the news media, is trying to create a particular fearful reality, or they think that's, what truth is. But truth is this higher dimension where everything is working out for us. And I think we just need more people that are willing to shine that particular light on the world, and things will change. We've got to quit just focusing on what's wrong and start focusing all the millions of things that are going right. And here's the other thing. I mean, there's no question that, difficulties may arise, but if you look about it, it's maybe like, look at the pie of your life. It's maybe like 1/10 of 1%. But yet we focus 99.9% of our time focusing on that 0.1% of something that might be problematic. I mean, we need to turn the pie around where we spend most of our time thinking about all the things that are going right, in the same ratio of how it works out in our day-to-day lives. And then, yes, spend that 0.1% focusing on the thing that needs to be taken care of, the problem, the whatever it might be. But it's just totally flipped on its head. We're spending all our time worrying about the 0.1% of things that need to be fixed or changed. So we need to flip that around.
I've been talking with New York Times bestselling author Pam Grout. If you would like to learn more about today's conversation, you can visit Pam's website, pamgrout.com. Pam, in our final moments, what's the takeaway? What do you want our listeners to take from this interview?
To realize how much power they have to change their life by simply changing their focus. Turn their spotlight from all that's going wrong and change and start looking for things that are going right. I mean, actively make it a practice to look for all the things that are going right. And if you start, changing your focus, your entire life will change.
Pam, thank you so much for being here and for this wonderful reminder about just how much power we have to create the life of our dreams. As I said, if you'd like to get more information, you can visit pamgrout.com. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Joan Herman, host of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Did you know that Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life has a free monthly digital magazine that can be read online or emailed to your inbox? Every month, nationally recognized leaders in their field provide information to educate, inspire, and motivate you. We believe in a holistic approach to life, incorporating mind, body, and spirit. Check out a copy of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life 24/7. Visit cyacyl.com and be sure to tell your friends. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read the digital magazine, and be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.